Welcome to the Speaking Deacon Show, episode 3. There's about another another week and a half before we start the season. Wake Forest versus Kennesaw State and Legacy Stadium in Winston-Salem. So we got some picks and we got some things to talk about, before we get there. And don't forget about the Jake Dickard show, the new head coach at Wake Forest. His first appearance with the voice of the Deacons, Stan Cotton, who will be this Thursday at the Millers on Robin Hood Road in Winston Salem. That'll be the first time there. They moved from Clemens to more or less just down the street from Wake Forest University, which is probably a good choice. They needed that, but that'll be this Thursday from 7 to 8, the Jake Dickens show, and there's sure to be surprises and guests. This will be the preseason show, and next Wednesday will be the show for game week. That'll be next Wednesday at the Millers on Robin Hood Road at 7 to 8 o'clock. Be sure to get there early to get your seat. I'm sure there'll be a lot of people there to meet the new head coach at Wake Forest. And also there'll more or less be some players there too. So I'm David with the Speaking Deacon Show. So we're going to, like I said, we're going to talk about some picks. We're going to talk about the team rankings 2015 through 2024, the average wins and of the finish, and I'll time that. And we'll start with the football team's ranking. So here's the deal. We have the ACC football teams ranked 20 through 15, 20. That was the projected. These are the projected finish between 2015 and 2024. Clemson was at the top of a record of 50 and 16, 76%, you might say. 2 national titles, 6 playoff appearances, ACC dominance. Then we have the new team coming into the ACC, SMU. They've done good over the past years, but last year was their first year. But over the past 2015 and 2024, they've had a 44 and 19 record. That's about a 70% record. They're doing the ACC in 2024, undefeated in conference play. They're strong. Then we have number 3, North Carolina State, 40 and 23, 63%. Surprisingly consistent, strong defense. We have number 4, Miami of Florida, at 37 and 24, 61%, you might say. It's 60.7, I'll say 61%. Talent rich, recent top finish, and top 10 finishes. Then we got Louisville at 37-27 wins, 57 or 58%. Lamar Jackson era recent resurgence. Number 6, Pittsburgh with 36 and 27, 57.1%. 2021 AC champs, physical identity. Then we have number 7, North Carolina, 37 and 28, 57% offensive power, now led by Belichick. This is his first year, so we'll see what he does. Then we have Florida State at number 8, 33, 27, and 55%. Inconsistent decade, but elite peaks. Then we have Wake Forest right behind Florida State at number 9, 31-29, 51.7%. 2021 ACC Elite game appearance. That was the one that was played Pittsburgh and lost. And then we have Duke right behind Wake Forest, number 10, evened out at 31-31, 50%. Recent rise under Elko and Diaz. So we'll see how Diaz does in his second year after Elko. Boston College at number 11. They're right under 29-32 at 47.5%. Bowl eligible, but rarely a contender. They're the fog team, you might say. Then we have Syracuse at number 12, also at 29 wins, 33 losses, just under 46.8%. Mostly bottom tier. 2024 was a breakout year. Let's see if they can continue that. The open season with Tennessee, I don't see how that's going to work out because they lost their best quarterback from last year. Then we have number 13, Virginia Tech at 27-32, 45.8%. Post-Beamer struggle, flashes of hope. So, and Brett Pryor has been trying to get this team going. Don't know what he's going to do this year to get it going. So that's the projection for between 2015, 2024. Which that's not my projected finish, and I'll give you my picks, and my picks are kind of like this might not be how it's going to go, but this is how I'm going to put them right now, because things can change after the season. Because things go weird, things go crazy, it never is the same, even with your ACC media picks. Only the top 3 teams probably are the most accurate. But after that, you get kind of foggy, right? You don't know which teams are which. And you don't even know your dark horse anymore because the teams just kind of spread out with you don't know what because of the portals and the trades kind of like the NFL, kind of wishy-washy, you might say. But so Virginia Tech is number 13. 14, Georgia Tech at 25-35, 41.7%. But they're rebuilding under Brent Keyes since the Paul Johnson era came to an end. So Brent Keyes is the new coach, and he's been doing really wonderful stuff at Georgia Tech. He's building that team the way it's supposed to be built, and we'll see what he does this year. Will this be a breakout year? Will they actually be contenders for the ACC championship? I mean, I think they can be. I think they can be right up there in it with SMU and Louisville and Miami, Clemson. Clemson and Miami is the top 2 teams. Then we got number 15, California, 22-32. California hasn't really done much, but they've done pretty good. I mean, but they struggled in the Pac-12 and the ACC. So they're around 41%. Virginia hasn't done much either. They're trying to, with Tony Elliott, since he's left Clemson, and you wonder, was that a mistake for Tony Elliott to leave Clemson? Go to Virginia? He hasn't done anything since he's been there. So let's see if he does anything this year. But Virginia projected in between 2015 and 2024 average of the wins and the projected finish 22-34. Stanford's last. They ain't done nothing. They're the worst. I mean, 16-38, about 29%. Major decline. Post David Shaw, bottom of the ACC. David Wright is there for 1 year only, and to coach, to try to get, but after that, this is just a total rebuilding. I mean, everybody should have had their Stanford down at the bottom. Even I don't think I've had. I don't even think I did. Those in the bottom. I don't forgot why I put them because I've done so many things. But we're going to go over uh, to my picks right here, and I put them in key game categories. And now my weekly picks. This is my week one picks that I'm picking for week one, and so week one we got Clemson versus LSU, and my pick is Clemson. To the notes are at the trenches edge. You got the home field advantage. North Carolina State versus ECU. That'll be sort of a toss-up game. Miami uh, versus Notre Dame. Oh, and by the way, the quarterback upgrade is with C.J. Bailey. Quarterback should be pretty good. Then we got Miami versus Notre Dame. My pick is Miami. I was kind of back and forth on this one. Notre Dame has the history, but Miami is getting stronger. A lot of times history don't make a difference. You got to make a kind of a gut call there. That'll be a close game. That's another pretty much of a toss-up. Notre Dame defense might hold, but we never know. We'll see. I got Miami. Alabama versus FSU. I'm picking Alabama. Depth and a D. Boyer debut. And all that stuff with Alabama. TCU versus UNC. That one should be a good one too. Uh, TCU has a line play advantage, but they've also been have been moving up while Carolina's moving down. So we'll see what Belichick does with UNC versus the versus TCU. Then we got Georgia Tech versus Colorado. That's another close one. A close call. Georgia Tech, I'm picking, but over the Coyotes factor. So then we have South Carolina versus Virginia Tech. I'm picking South Carolina because I believe that South Carolina getting stronger. It's a dome debut in Sellers. You can figure that one out. Then we got Oregon State versus Cal. I mean, Cal is moving up there, but I don't think they've gotten there yet to where uh, they can beat Oregon State. Oregon State's a little bit better than Cal. She'll be another good one. But I'm picking Oregon State in a revenge and run game because I think Cal beat them last year, 40 something, a wide, 11 or 10 or something like that. I forgot what the score was. Um, when I did my notes to do this week, I didn't go over it all and didn't put my notes down uh, uh, for that score, but I'm picking Oregon State over Cal. Then we got Stanford versus Hawaii. Even though it's Stanford, I think they'll be good enough to be Hawaii. I don't think Hawaii's going to be all that great. Could be. So if everything goes away, I'll probably be 7-2. Because my because this is it's weird, and the ones that I probably can lose would be Miami, Notre Dame, and Georgia State, Colorado. Um, Stanford's got the coaching edge over Hawaii. So let's see if that makes a difference. So let's go to my sure picks, which is 8. My sure picks, which the top one maybe not be so sure, but it could be. Virginia versus Coastal Carolina. I'm picking Virginia. Coastal run the game well. Let's see how that compares. Let's see if Virginia defense can stop the Coastal Carolina's run game. They've always been good. Then we got Tennessee versus Syracuse. I'm picking Tennessee, and the odds favor Tennessee dominating that game because they're in a kind of a rebuilding. They don't have a good quarterback. And then we got the Wake Forest versus Kennesaw State at Wake Forest. Well, I'm picking Wake Forest. So everybody else is. This is a depth mismatch. So it's got also blowout potential, just like the next game is. SMU versus East Texas A&M. SMU should win with another blowout potential. And we got Boston College versus Fordham. I'm picking Boston College to win. Talent gap is way better for Boston College than between Boston College and Fordham. The gap is wide, so that win's not going to be no problem for Boston College. That'll be like a scrimmage for them. Louisville versus Eastern Kentucky. Whoa, the Cards will roll in this one. The Cards will roll, so that's a win. Pittsburgh versus the Quints. They play them about every year. They pretty much win it with ease. That's the ACC versus the FCS. Pittsburgh wins. Duke versus Elon. Duke will win. Duke's favored big time. So that's going to be pretty much. Those are my picks for week 1, and I'll go back over it again in episode 4, week of next week when I go into it. And finally, we come to our big time ACC projected finish that I was talking about. So we got Miami. I'll pick it number 1, Clemson number 2, SMU number 3. You'll see the projected finish and what it looks like. Virginia Tech at number 4, number 5, Georgia Tech, Louisville at number 6, North Carolina at number 7, finishing somewhere around 7 and 5. Virginia 7 and 5, California 7 and somewhere around 7 and 6. Oh, that's not correct. Should be 7 and 5. Duke 6 and 6. Actually, California should be 6 and 6. I don't know why I put that down. Anyway, Duke 6 and 6. North Carolina State 6 and 6. Florida State somewhere around 6 and 6. Boston College around 6 and 6. Pittsburgh 6 and 6. Stanford 5 and 7. Wake 5 and 7. 16. Syracuse 17. At 5 and 7. That all can change during the season. So those are my picks. Just remember the number 9 California is a mistypo. It should be 6 and 6 or 7 and 5. Not sure what that is. Thought I had it that way, but anyway, that is the conclusion of the Speaking Deacon show. Sometimes maybe you type this out and you do this. Sometimes you make a little mistake here, but it's somewhere around there anyway. 6 and 6, 7 and 7. California, you never know what California is going to do. Because this is going to be another weird season, another unknown because of the portal and high school recruits and all the transfers leaving, all the transfers coming in. You never know who's going to do what. So we'll see. So the my last episode before the season. So these are preseason episodes of the Speaking Deacon show, and and each week this is where you'll see my big time ACC picks right here on the Speaking Deacon show, and I won't be putting them out like I used to. It'll be on the Speaking Deacon show. I will let you know what my picks are, and I'll put them up on the screen like I got this one, and we will go from there. So this is it for the Speaking Deacon show. See you next week.